The reason why we need to talk about this is because today it is harder than ever to stay in a mindset of prosperity. You can learn how to attract more money, more wealth, and more prosperity into your life. You can learn how to have money flowing to you easily and effortlessly. You can retrain your brain to see new opportunities and to focus on your blessings. Becoming financially abundant is a skill, and it starts by believing in your self-worth, by believing that you deserve the success, the wealth, the abundance, and the blessings that are coming to you. It's knowing that you use money wisely for the highest of all goods. Your wealth is a tool that allows you to make a greater impact in the world. You can attract more money, more blessings, greater abundance, and true prosperity. And today I'll share with you the tools to make that happen. Now let's get to it. My goal today is to give you action steps so you can actually make these changes possible. So instead of going into my own story, which I think lends credibility to why I'm teaching this and why I've been able to create the lifestyle that I have, I'm going to link to an episode I did on how to examine your own money mindset. In that episode, I shared my own childhood and the negative beliefs and the scarcity mindset that I had to overcome. And each time I examine it and identify some area where scarcity is working against me, I choose to improve that area and it opens up opportunities. So I'm going to link to that episode. I encourage you to watch it if you're on YouTube or take a listen if you're listening on whatever podcast app you're listening to. But today, I really want to give you actionable steps. So the first thing we have to recognize is that cognitive dissonance is your greatest challenge. And what is that? That means you have beliefs around having enough. These are beliefs we all hold that are unconscious and sometimes subconscious. But these beliefs, we can examine ourselves, we can question ourselves and identify them. Any negative belief you have around wealth, attracting more things to you, or that good things are going to happen to you. Because when we talk about abundance and prosperity and wealth, I'm not just talking about money. I mean, that's definitely part of it. And there should be no shame in that. And if the fact that I said money made you feel a certain kind of way, that's a big sign that there's something going on with your beliefs around prosperity. When we have negative beliefs around having enough, or that good things are going to happen to us, or we're going to attract more money, then cognitive dissonance it's a psychological concept that basically says the way you live your life, how you see things, how you do things aligns with your belief, even if it's subconscious. So if subconsciously you believe, I'm never going to be wealthy, that's for other people, then you will unknowingly take actions that self-sabotage. So as you start to become wealthy, or as you start to have an opportunity, you don't even realize you're doing this, but you'll do something that undermines yourself, because your brain's job is to align your world so that it matches up with your beliefs. This also means that you will rationalize scarcity. You will rationalize lack. You will rationalize when bad things happen to you, where people screw you, or where you don't get paid enough, or where there's just never enough. It also results in a fear of success, because success would contradict this subconscious belief you have that you're not going to be successful. And this is a big one. People who subconsciously believe that they don't deserve to have all the things that they think they want. You have IAS, Information Avoidance Syndrome. These are the people who they're smart, they're brilliant. It's you maybe. And you know what it is you want to do. And you're really good at figuring out other things, but for some reason you'll say things like, well, I just don't even know what that would take, or I don't even know what that would look like. I don't even know how to do that. But like, hello, you have an internet connection and you've used Google before. Any piece of information you need to do the thing that you need to do in order to have the thing that you want, all that information is out there. So I want you to question why it is in this one area you put up this block, like you don't know how to do it. You don't know where to start. You don't know what's the right decision. So it's information avoidance syndrome. And if you've got that going on, I guarantee cognitive dissonance is one of the first things we have to disassemble. If you're struggling with a scarcity mindset, it's going to perpetuate these negative cycles that you believe is just the way things are, that there was nothing you could have done differently to change things. But I'm here to tell you, it's your fear of change that has you aligning your activities, your behaviors, your actions, and the things that you're focusing on. All the things you focus on have to do with scarcity. because that's the way your brain has been wired. But the good news is we can stop this cycle. You can decide today if you want to stop the cycle. It starts by aligning your life with the concept of abundance. I'm not talking about your bank account necessarily, and I'm not talking about the things that you have or the people in your life. I'm talking about all of these things. To understand the concept of abundance is to recognize that it's a state of being. It's a belief that good people, good things, good times, good opportunities, good money, like all good is coming to you. It's acknowledging and appreciating all the good that you have. It's living with this as a state of being. It's like how you operate. And that's the biggest concept. I know that's big. And then we're going to break it down into bite-sized pieces. But the next step is to recognize the language that you use. Remember, our brains are so powerful. They're listening to absolutely everything we say. And oftentimes people who are in scarcity use the language of scarcity instead of the language of abundance. Someone who's stuck in scarcity will say things like, well, I don't want to go into that business. Isn't it too competitive? Whereas the mindset of abundance says, I love competition. That means that there's a lot of people who want this. The scarcity mindset says we can't afford that. The abundant mindset says, I can't wait to have that, and I'm going to create a plan to achieve it or to get it. Scarcity mindset says, I don't have enough time or the resources to figure that out. The abundant mindset says, I'll break it down into small pieces and I'll just figure this out. When you're in a scarcity mindset, you say things like, I don't know how we're going to pay for this. When you shift into an abundant mindset, you say things like, there's so many amazing ways to make money online. I'm going to do the research. This is exciting. This is opportunity. People with a negative money mindset will say, rich people are greedy or rich people are scammers. Someone with an abundant mindset can say, wealth is a tool for me to make an impact on the world. Then there are those who will say, well, money is the root of all evil. But an abundant mindset says, money is just energy, and I am attracting more of it. Changing your language is the first step to my next tip, which is shifting your focus from lack to possibility, from I don't have enough to I have so much and more is coming. It's concentrating on potentials, on possibilities, and focusing on those things as opposed to focusing on what you don't have or the obstacles or the lack. When you're stuck in a scarcity mindset, you are not going to attract prosperity to you if you're focused on scarcity, if you're focused on lack, if you're feeling like you have to hold on to everything because I don't know when I'll get another one. It's the people who hold on to items like a broken coffee cup. It's like there's no handle on it anymore, but you're holding on to it. Why? It's the fear that you won't have enough money to buy it again. It's the holding on to people and relationships so tightly because you feel like you'll never make another friend like this one. It's not just about money. It's about other things you're holding on to so tight. Time with the people that you love, like all those things. When you're so afraid of lack, you're so afraid of losing, that becomes your focus, and we attract more of what it is we focus on. So instead of noticing that you don't have enough time with this person, or you don't have enough of these whatever items it is, or enough clothes, or know that you have more than enough, and you can let go of those things because more is coming to you. In fact, you have to let go to make room for more. I mean, you've got to make space in your life for better things, right? My number 5 tip for you, and this is a big one, is you have got to understand, you have to identify, you have to personally be self-aware and recognize when it is fear that is keeping you stuck. Because fear and scarcity go hand in hand. Self-doubt and scarcity go hand in hand. You may be held back by fear and the challenges of balancing the unknown with possibilities. So someone who's in a scarcity mindset is always afraid that the negative thing could happen. You know you've shifted into an abundant mindset when you relax and you rely on your faith. Maybe it's your faith in yourself, or maybe it's your faith in God, that you will be abundantly blessed. And even if there are failures are what lead to greatness. Like, you have to fail your way into success. Like, you got to make it messy to make it happen. It's that person who's afraid, like In fact, I got a message today on Instagram from a gal who said, I've been working as a nurse practitioner for 15 years. I have so much knowledge and so many skills, and I know I could do something with, I could start my own business of some kind, but I don't know where to begin or where to start. So immediately I hear that she's got that information avoidance syndrome, number one. And number two, it's her fear that keeps her in a state of inaction. It's her fear that is causing her to miss opportunities and to not see opportunities. It's her fear that is going to leave her plagued in a state of regret. And to overcome this, all she would have to do is get information, educate yourself. Look to those people, whatever it is that you're afraid of. Like, fear is about the not knowing. Well, then overcome that by figuring things out. Like, get the knowledge, get the information, consult with the expert, buy the course, listen to the podcast, watch the YouTube, like, seek support, seek wise counsel of people who are experienced doing whatever it is that right now you're afraid you might fail. Because guess what? You probably will fail a little bit, but that's how you become successful. Failure doesn't kill us, inaction kills us. And not taking action is going to keep you broke. The number 6 step to really achieving that prosperity mindset and attracting more abundance into your life is recognizing that time is more important than money. And this was a really, really hard one for me because I believed in order to be financially successful, I had to be smart about spending money on things. And if I could figure out how to do something myself, I'm like, why would I pay someone else to do that? But once you adopt the understanding of an abundance way of being, you recognize that the most valuable thing that you have isn't your money, it's your time. So if there are other people that you can pay to do the things, to help you get there, to make the thing happen, and in doing so, you free up the time that you need to do the things that only you can do, that's when you truly understand how important and valuable you are. And that's what abundance is. Abundance it's not, like I keep saying, it's not just about money. It's part of it, but it's also recognizing, like, it's how do I live an abundant life? I can't live an abundant life if I'm trying to do everything myself. And it comes back to you full circle. We'll get to that one in just a moment. Well, it's that time when your girl's super thirsty for subscribers. So don't forget to hit that subscription. Make sure you're subscribed here to the Chalene Show. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the bell notification and leave a comment under this video. Oh, and I bet you thought I was going to talk about this bottle, but I'm not. I'm going to talk about this cute little sticker that I got because I shopped from a small female business owner. Love her. Shout out to Shop Calico. And she sent me this super cute Bad Bitch Juice sticker that I put on my bottle. And I got a really cute jean jumper that's to die for. Woo, I love it. All right, back to prosperity. My number 7 tip for you is to adopt a practice of generosity. And I don't just mean tipping. I mean, be generous with your knowledge. Be generous with your feelings. Be generous with your emotions. Be generous with your time. Be generous with your resources. Now, don't be foolish. Don't give away everything, but don't hold on to things for fear that you're never going to get it again or that people won't reciprocate. Don't keep score. An example of this is so profound. My daughter, Sierra, recently, this actually just like a week ago, launched a beauty brand. It's called Boyish Beauty. She's been working on this for now 2.5 years. I'm so proud of her. She's 23 years old and launched her own beauty brand. And a lot of influencers do this, but they white label. So they go to a company, a manufacturer that's already making, let's say, an eyeshadow palette, and they just pay a small percentage for it to have their logo and their brand on it, but they haven't manufactured anything, and they're able to sell it. And that's one way of doing it, which is great, but you'll never be able to sell that company because you don't own the formulations. Let me explain how this relates to generosity. She was trying to do her research and just kept hitting stonewall after stonewall, obstacle after obstacle, like just trying to figure out, like, what's the best way to do this? Like, what's the right way? And how do I find these companies? And do I need to make my own formulation, or is it better to white label? And I've interviewed some really successful people, even in the makeup industry, and done things for them. And it's nice when you can call upon someone who you've done quite a few favors for them, and in hopes that they would jump on a call with your daughter, right? And I called on quite a few of those people, and a few just weren't generous or available for the call, which I understand. You can't be available to everybody. But one person said, absolutely, 100%. And that person was Ezra Firestone.
I'm going to teach you some really cool stuff to help you make more money and sell more products. And find one person.
Ezra Firestone is seen by many as probably one of the most prolific e-commerce and marketing experts on the planet. He helped to found a company called Boom, which is a makeup company. And Boom is a pro-age cosmetic line. I love it. With his help, that company now generates over $40 million in sales annually. I mean, this is a guy who understands wealth and abundance. And I don't just mean financially. We had the occasion of being able to spend some time at his home with his daughter, who has since passed away, Audra, Sky. Anyways, I digress. When I sent him a text message. At this point, I didn't even know Ezra that well. I'd had him on my podcast, and I thought, oh yeah, that's right. He did that makeup line. I'm going to send him a text, and maybe I don't know. He seems super busy, super successful. I don't know if he will do this year, but like this guy knows everything, and maybe he could just answer a few questions for us. And that's all I would hope to do. I just asked if I could ask him a few questions on behalf of my daughter, or if she could ask them of him. And his reply was immediate. He was like, I would love to help her. Young entrepreneur, like schedule the time with my assistant. We'll jump on a call. He jumped on a call with Sierra, and not only did he motivate her, he gave her every single contact in his Rolodex and told them why each person might be different than the other, how they differed. He gave her the advice to formulate your own formula for her brow gel so that at some point you own that IP. He talked to her about trademark. He talked to her about, it was a incredible conversation. And when I, of course, reached out to Ezra and said, like, what can we pay you for this consultation? His answer was like, oh, no, we're good. Like, seriously, I'm happy to help. That's generosity. And you know what? I just went to his LinkedIn page recently because what he says at the beginning of his LinkedIn profile is how he lives his life. He says, serve the world unselfishly and profit. And again, because this isn't just about money, I have to share a little bit about his story. Their daughter, Audra, was born prematurely and had so many complications. I too long of a list to even list them for you now. Can you imagine having a baby in the hospital and I know some of you have experienced this. They were told that she had very little time to live and that she needed to stay on life support in the hospital. The abundance perspective that they took on with her life changed my world. Literally, that little girl and the way these two decided to learn how to keep her on life support from home and what they made possible for the end of her life celebration, and the way they invited so many people into her home to experience her in her final months, and the way that they celebrated that God had chosen them for this beautiful soul. It just speaks to abundance. Oh, I have goosebumps all over. And that's what I'm talking about when I say adopting an abundance mindset, even when you're faced with the hardest of adversities, looking at this, I don't want to say the silver lining, but seeing all the blessings. You've got to see your blessings in all things. And that means being generous with who you are, with the people in your life, the people who you want to feel your love, the people who you care about. And it's attracting and spending time with people who are also of abundance, people who lift you up, because that energy begets energy. And when you're spending time around people who have an abundant mindset, guess what happens to you? It's infectious. It's contagious. It makes you more abundant. And you know this to be true. When you spend time with people who all they see is the negative, you start to see it too. Some of the blogs that his wife wrote during Audra's final months on the planet, and I have to tell you, like, they're so profound. They're so filled with abundance. She's an incredible writer. She's also a singer and just released an album. But anyways, you have to read these. They are so profound. Anyways, moving on, which perfectly leads me to point number 8, which is actively acknowledging your blessings all the freaking time. Now, I use a push journal. I don't know if you do. This is one of my businesses. And in this, it's very intentional. At the bottom of each page, depending on which version you have, it might be at the top of your page, it might be at the bottom of your page, there's a place for you to write in what it is you're grateful for that day. And I think to do that just one time a day is a great start. But ideally, you want to start recognizing all of your blessings all of the time. And it's a practice. It's a habit. It's searching for, it's focusing on all of, like, the fact that you have an internet connection and you can listen or watch this podcast on YouTube, the fact that you have clothes on, that you're going to eat a warm meal today, like noticing and recognizing all of the positives. Even if we're approaching the holiday seasons and you have a mother-in-law or a family member who drives you crazy and they're going to come over and visit, like acknowledging that, like, you have family and you know who they are, like actively acknowledging your blessings and saying to yourself, I am so blessed and I know more blessings are coming my way. Because again, what we focus on, we get more of. So why wouldn't you focus on your blessings? And the last tip I have for you is creating a cycle of prosperity. And what I mean by that is it's reinforcing, it's taking actions and behaviors and thinking that all reinforces more. The idea that there is no competition, that when you have an abundance mindset, you know that there's always room for more. You know that there's always more coming your way. You don't hold on to things. So you're generous with your time, you're generous with your money, you're generous with the things that fuel a positive reaction in other people, a positive outlook, things that make you feel good about who you are. And then you start to feel this limitless energy. And that energy has a power. That energy powerfully attracts more like-minded people to you. If you have a negative mindset, if you're the person who's like, yeah, you see the problems, like, well, there's no good men out there. Yeah, I'd like to do that, but isn't it oversaturated? Well, I mean, I would do that except like, you see all of the obstacles. That's a habitual way of thinking. I know you think it's just being realistic, but I'm here to tell you, you can change it because I have changed it and millions of others have too. And it's a practice. It's a skill, which means you can learn this. Focus on gratitude. A key component of abundance and prosperity is consistently recognizing and appreciating what you already have. And to continue that cycle of prosperity, you must be resilient and flexible. You must know that you are going to fail, bad things are going to happen, but you embrace those challenges. You love feeling growth. You love seeing all of those downtrodden moments as opportunities to bounce back, that they are temporary, that good things are coming your way, and you bounce back quicker when you continue the cycle of prosperity. It will influence your actions. The way that you think and what you focus on is going to influence your actions. And you're going to start taking actions that create more possibilities for you. More blessings are coming your way. You'll start setting goals that you can actually achieve, goals that might have seemed far reach not too long ago. But now you understand, like, oh, I'm going to break this down into bite-sized pieces. I'm going to accomplish things because I know I can. And I know good things are happening to me. It's a mindset that you start to make the necessary changes and take the necessary actions that make those goals a reality. Now, if you've been going back and forth and wondering, like, am I a negative person? And do I focus on scarcity? Do I have some of these subconscious beliefs? I want to recommend, again, that you take a listen to the episode I did about how to test your money mindset. Because I'm going to walk you through a series of questions. And if you answer them a certain way, you're going to know if it is your mindset around money that might be holding you back. And if, in fact, you are being strangled, held back by your own scarcity mindset. Also, it's been a while since I've done how I teach goal setting. My system is called the push goal system. And you don't have to use one of my journals. You can use like a blank notebook if you want. You can do it on your laptop or desktop if you want. And I teach a very simplified method of goal setting, of goal mastery, like how to set a goal and how to accomplish it faster. But I think more importantly is the way that I teach goal setting is so that it's in alignment with your values, your priorities, and what things really make you happy. Because at the end of the day, more money doesn't always make people happy, right? You have to know what things you need to attract into your life, and how you accomplish them is also a skill. It's a skill that I think a lot of people overcomplicate. I think a lot of goal setting systems are like, you need a protractor and a calculator and a system. No, super simple. ADHD proof. If that's a video or an episode you'd like for me to do an update on, drop a comment and let me know. Just say new goal setting episode and I'll serve that up for you if that's what you're looking for. And for that matter, any topic that you see maybe I haven't addressed recently, drop that in the comment. We've done a lot of episodes recently about health and fitness. Please take a look at my previous episode titles before you suggest a new one, because I might have just done it. Anyways, I really do appreciate you spend this time with me here. I hope that little segment in the middle was inspirational and not sad for you. I'm telling you, if you read these blogs, they were so powerful. Just, wow. Perspective, man. Perspective will make you focus on what really matters in the world. I love you. I mean it. And I'll talk to you soon.